I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Unlocked and into the dark. Some things are better left unknown. And I'll never find you here, 'cause no one's ever.
We got an amazing episode tonight, folks, talking about a fun topic to break the monotony. Mandela effect coming up. Stay tuned.
Is clean, she's a sneaky hider. Hide the lies and the alibis. Oh, what a sinner. Is it in her? What's the truth in this riddle? Is love really just this simple? I can't seem to find my way in this world that never stays. What a widow, a peaceful spider. When the glass is clean, she's a sneaky hider. Hide the lies and the alibis. What a sinner, is it in her?
Shout out to those watching on YouTube. Very rare sight on camera in studio. Brandon's lost in a wonderland of confusion.
Is this real or just illusion? Manifestation or a dark delusion? Is this real or just illusion? I'm lost in a wonderland of confusion.
Rip'n Rabbit Hole is a community-driven radio. At times the community comments may reveal prejudices and other beliefs that we or our sponsors do not condone. Views or opinions expressed by the community, callers, or guests, are those of the individual speaking and do not represent the views or opinions of this site. Rip'n Common Sense content is intended for mature audiences only. Enjoy.
Coming to you from a secret cave, hidden deep within the wilderness. This is the Darkwolf's Den Show. Now, here is your host, Jerry Hicks.
That's right, I am Jerry Hicks, also known as the Dark Wolf, and we are broadcasting live from a secret cave, hidden deep within the wilderness of Tennessee. That's right. We're ripping through the electromagnetic soup. We're tearing through the atmosphere. and we're tunneling away into your radio like a quantum particle. This is the DarkWolf's Den Radio Show for Thursday, August the 18th, 2022. Haha! So whether you're on the edge of a reality, the edge of the galaxy, or the edge of your seat, we're glad you chose us to be right there with you, folks. And tonight we are going to dive into a topic that is near and dear to my heart, a topic that we do not cover enough, in my opinion, that, of course, being the Mandela effect. In my opinion, the new UFO group. I'll explain that as we go forward, but we got a whole lot of fun stuff to cover tonight, folks, and a little time to get there, and we will get there together. But first, let's go ahead and see who all we have out here in our chat rooms, both on YouTube as well as the RippinRabbitHole.com, RippinRabbitHole.com. If you click on the very first tab at the top there with the Mandela Effect DarkWolf's Den Show, it will take you to a show page and a chat that is accessible to everyone. So I've got both chats up tonight. I do apologize. My Life DIY, I missed the chats last night as I was inside the backstage lounge, but we have fixed that, as well as the amazing radio player over here on the RippinRabbitHole.com. But how are you guys doing over here tonight, folks? It is always awesome to see you guys, like Michael Fontaine with the I agree, Michael. When it comes to the Mandela effect, is definitely something that I think a lot, right? Especially when I try to do theories. I got called out. I turned the camera on YouTube a moment ago, and I just finished dinner, and apparently I had some stuff still on these sides of my mouth, so got called out for that. I appreciate you, JoJo's, letting me know that was there. I was kind of unaware, kind of caught up in my own trying to show off, right? Great to see everybody, like Deborah O'Connor says, the DarkWolf's Den Show. Good evening, Wolfie. Hope you're doing well. We are doing absolutely fantastic tonight, as always. Of course, Sandy B in the house says, hey, Jerry in chat. Hey, Sandy B, with JoJo's waving in also. We've got Mandani Mall says, hi, everybody. Hi, Mandani Mall, as well as Saturnian Sun. Freedom for all. I agree, Saturnian Sun. We are going to be taking a little break from the political stuff, that we do have a little bit of news to cover before we get into the fun Mandela effect. But we've went really hot and heavy on some very deep topics lately, and it's time we step back and have some fun and relax and break up the monotony a little bit. So Raider Champion in there dropping the theme song Wonderland by Michael Musco and Chick Mandela Effect. Amazing song, is it not, guys? One of my favorites, honestly. And I don't just say that because this is my theme song. I actually listened to that over and over before I requested her permission to use that as our theme song, with both of their permission. Wasted Millennium in the house. Glad to see you, Wasted Millennium. GPP, Games People Play, host of Games People Play over on TikTok. Very fun TikTok channel to watch if you are into that kind of stuff. They play various random games. Deal or No Deal, I believe, was last week's selection. They've played Battleship and a number of others. It's fun to watch them over there, guys. Ellie Brooks in the house, or Ellie, yeah, Brooks, that is an S, sorry. Just wanted to make sure. Hi, Ellie. Just Carol. Hey, it's Carol's Cookies. Glad to see you, Carol. Just Carol now. Well, just glad to see you, Just Carol's Cookies, or not cookies anymore, whichever way you like. It is always a pleasure. Anonymous Rabbit 86544 over in the Rippin' Rabbit Hole chat says, hey, Jerry. JoJo's jumping in with a hey, Jerry. AJ the Rippin' Rabbit, of course, over there also. Lots of work he's done on that site, and lots of work we've been doing behind the scenes on a various number of topics. And today there was a press conference in late breaking news. We have this posted on the RippinRabbitHole.com, folks. I am going to play the whole soundbite. It's 8 minutes. I may not play the entire soundbite. We'll have to see. But there are some very, very important parts here. So this is the press conference today, August the 18th, 2022. In Wisconsin. Let's hear from Adam Steen.
Got a microphone here, guys. Well, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. It is a beautiful evening here in the great state of Wisconsin.
I do apologize for the wind. We cannot help that. It's in the audio recording. So we do apologize for the quality as far as that goes.
And I am so thrilled that there's so many people here to hear this wonderful announcement tonight. First of all, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank God for this country that we live in, and the brave men and women who have given us the opportunity and sacrificed so much so that we could be here today and have the freedom to speak about this great country that we have.
Hear, 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 hear.
I'd like to thank President Donald Trump for his endorsement and for his faith in the will of the people and his willingness to stand up for what is right. 168 years ago, the Republican Party of Wisconsin was formed in Ripon, just up the road, with the intent to stop the spread of slavery. We have a great heritage in Wisconsin, and we should be proud of it.
And I fully agree with him, as it is very, very important, the little city of Ripon, Wisconsin, one of the bigger marks on the map when it comes to the Republican Party. So we appreciate that, Adam Steen. I'm not going to play the entire 8 minutes. I just thought that was very important, as we are based out of Ripon, Wisconsin. Of course, it's always excellent to hear the reminder of the birthplace of the Republican Party and how important it is holding the freedom flame as we celebrate here at Ripon Common Sense Radio Network, the RiponRabbitHole.com, or you can also find it at thefreedomflame.com, as we have our celebration of the Freedom Flame every March 20th. And this year will be no different. Our 6th year celebrating the Freedom Flame. And I may get this number wrong. I apologize. Do not quote me on this next number. 150 years, I do believe, since the original Freedom Flame was lit. And if I'm wrong on that number, again, do please correct me, AJ. Anyway, Chris over in the chat, Chris Spivey, I'm glad to see you, my friend, also over in the Ripon Rabbit Hole chat. But tonight we're here to chat about the Mandela effect, folks. And if you guys didn't know, even though I cover a lot of political stuff, I come from the paranormal world. I, of course, have been a paranormal researcher for a good portion of my life, since I was 12 years old. So 30 years there kind of gives away my age. Kind of dated myself there, but 30 years I've been studying the paranormal, and I was really astonished when in my lifetime I seen a brand new paranormal phenomenon crop up, if you will, in reality. This, of course, being the Mandela effect, and I found this in 2015. What is astonishing to me, one of many, many aspects of the Mandela effect that is absolutely astonishing to me, is that when I began looking into this concept, was at the Berenstain Bears. That will always be my number one. But there were only maybe 4 or 5 Mandela effects. I even say 3 or 4. And I can only remember about 3 of them, but that's all that there was. There was Mandela, there was Berenstain, there was Luke, I Am Your Father. I know that 100% for sure. And I've seen this thing grow enormously over time. It is an active paranormal phenomenon that we have going on. Of course, psychology has always called it misremembering. Of course, I actually did the DarkWolf's Den Show video theory series here on YouTube. That's what started my channel on YouTube, was doing the theories of the Mandela effect. So it's kind of going back to my roots, if you will. And for those who don't know, I'm also one of the founders of the International Mandela Effect Conference.com, which we will talk about a little while later. Also the president at the time, acting president of the International Mandela Effect Conference team there. It's an absolute honor and pleasure to work with all of those guys over at IMEC. And again, we will get to them here in just a little while. But what I was getting back to is psychologists call the Mandela effect, I found, to be mismemory. At the beginning, they were beating us over the head with another name, confabulation, a word that become a curse word in the community, of course. And I did a video. I decided I was going to, since I'm presenting all sides and theories, I said I'm going to give the mainstream their side. And when I did, I found that they were actually only giving us half the definition of that word. So I fixed that. I did the video and give the other half of the definition. All of a sudden, they stopped beating us over the head with confabulation. It's not a word you hear very often anymore, but they still stick to mismemory. So the University of Chicago decided they wanted to look into this theory put forth by modern psychology. And modern psychology will concede that they can't explain why everybody remembers the same things the same way. Everybody agrees Berenstein was EIN. You don't have YYN, EYN, YEN, EEN. You don't have a variety of people saying it was all these different ways. Everyone agrees it was one way. One of the many strange things about the Mandela effect. Now, of course, assume if you're listening to my voice tonight, you're already kind of well-versed in this topic anyway. So I do apologize if it goes a little over some heads. Once again, I've been in it for so long. Very, very strange thing. But the University of Chicago, like I was saying, let me get this pulled up here. I'm going to borrow the slideshow we had for the International Mandela Effect Conference one. I'm being a little lazy tonight, folks. Forgive me. I do apologize. If I can get this to size correctly on my screen here. There was a lot of experiments that they chose to do, and it was an interesting way they did them. The first experiment, they had a group of people look at images of a logo, character, or mascot, including very popular examples like the Monopoly Man with the monocle, George with or without a tail, Fruit of the Loom with or without the cornucopia, sorry, I lose that word sometimes, things like that, right? And others that had been added as controls. As well as the original real versions of the images, they included several other versions with mistakes in them, which made them fit in with the original design as much as possible. For instance, Curious George has a very fluffy tail. I'm not going to show these tonight on YouTube. Again, if you want to see these slides, we did cover them on the International Mandela Effect Conference last month. But I don't know if everybody got this information. So this was what they decided to do. They had people pick between three different images, a control, the Mandela Effect version, and the way it is right now, and select which one's right. Asked to select the image they believed to be the original, and then rate how confident they were that it was correct. Not only were they asked to select the correct image, they were asked to rate how confident they felt about their selection. And they considered the ones that are chosen to be potential VMEs or visual Mandela effects. If it was consistently chosen, people were very confident about their choice, and the same image was consistently selected. The results of test number 1 are as follows. First, I'm going to need to go ahead and pull this chat up and move it to the other window so I can still see what you guys are saying as the screen was covering that. Here's the results. Images of C-3PO, Curious George, and Fruit of the Loom logo, the Monopoly Man, Pikachu, the Volkswagen logo, and Waldo from Where's Waldo had not only accuracies below chance, but also had specific, quote, incorrect versions that were falsely recognized as the original, the team wrote in their paper. Thus, these 7 images were labeled the VME apparent. Again, they clearly chose the Curious George we all remember with the tail, Monopoly Man with the monocle, Pikachu with the black tail, Fruit of the Loom with the cornucopia, C-3PO with a silver leg, and forgive me, it's Waldo with or without the cane. So they clearly chose these over and over and over. Again, it goes to show these people that had never met each other all have the same memory. In other words, they were all chosen overwhelmingly. So experiment 1 seems to be on the side of the Mandela effect, folks. It does not seem to be looking good for psychology in their mismemory concept. In the second experiment, the team showed the participants the correct images and asked them to study them the way they are now. Without explaining, they would be asked to recall the information of what they had just seen. So now they've looked at the right image. You'd think they would go in and they would choose the right image. However, when they subsequently asked to select between the correct version and the manipulated version, the Mandela effect version, the VME images were still consistently chosen over the correct or modern time images that they had just studied. The remembering overrode, the anchor memories at times, if you will, overrode what they had just looked at. what they remembered seeing all their life overrode what they were just shown moments ago. Again, there is no logical, psychological explanation for why this should happen. It seems the University of Chicago has really come up with some interesting experiments here, but it gets even better. In one test, they were asked to draw what they remembered. Would you know they drew consistently the VMEs every time? The ones that were already chosen for VMEs? The ones we mentioned a moment ago? Well, it depends, says Sandy. It does depend on whether it depends, doesn't it? The with or without the S, for those that don't know. It's quite a dilemma, indeed. Oh, wait, dilemma. Don't have the N anymore. Another one that I find strange, and I'm going to break from this for just a moment. Another one I find really, really strange, and I got somebody with this the other day. My Uber driver I was discussing with is Ed McMahon. And you have people my age that remember the 80s and the Ed McMahon and the Publishers Clearinghouse. And that is always 100% going to be, as far as I'm concerned, Ed McMahon did the big checks with Publishers Clearinghouse. Publishers Clearinghouse has stated publicly more than once that they don't understand why people keep associating him with their brand. As a matter of fact, I had 2 people follow me that were Publishers Clearinghouse Agent 1 and Agent 2. No joke. They are very confused. So are we. Because I know most of us, if not all of us, remember that. And again, it's that memory that apparently shouldn't exist, but yet, alas, it does in all of us, independently. If it's mismemory, we would have a variety of different memories, in my opinion. In third experiment, they tested the next experiment, they tested the schema theory. Now, this is the idea that we hear all of the time. People just fill in the missing information. When you recall a memory, you only get parts of it, so you fill in other information. And yes, I myself have misremembered things. I'm not going to pretend like that's not a thing. I'm still human. Even if I'm affected by the Mandela effect, I'm still human. I still misremember. I get that, right? However, this claim seems to, as I quote from the article, falls down with many of the VMEs. The participants were asked to select the correct Fruit of the Loom logo from the VME version, the quote correct version now, and one with a manipulation to it. They put the fruit on a plate, which makes sense. Fruit and plate do go together. That's fair. They tried to trick them. However, they could have picked, and it goes in and explain, quote, they could have picked the correct Fruit of the Loom logo, the Fruit of the Loom logo with the cornucopia, or the Fruit of the Loom logo with the plate underneath it, co-author Dipasari Prasad said in a press release. The fact that they chose the cornucopia over the plate when the plates are more frequently associated with fruit is evidence against the idea that it's just the schema theory in play. In other words, this theory absolutely does not fit the evidence that they have gathered. I find this very, very intriguing. I don't know about you guys. Again, this is a run out of the University of Chicago. There is actually a link to it. I found this mentioned in the Vice article that was written with the International Mandela Effect Conference being quoted within the Vice article. At the bottom of it, there was a link to this story here, a very, very interesting story indeed. The team found no real explanation for the consistent selections. In experiment 3, they found no explanation at all. They're flabbergasted. It does not fit this schema theory. And also, anytime you are hearing people tell you that the Mandela effect is just filling in bits of misinformation, you can tell them no, that has been scientifically disproven. That has been debunked by science. Trust the science, remember, always trust the science. And in the next experiment, participants were asked to draw the logos. Okay, this is the one that I jumped ahead to. They still, after having been through all of this, still reproduce Curious George with a tail, Pikachu with a black tail, and a Fruit of the Loom logo with the cornucopia. So these are 4 different experiments that have been run to test if the Mandela effect is just, mismemory. And clearly, the test has proven over and over and over with yet another random group that it is yet too hard to disprove, or too. Let me rephrase that. I ran out of words. Let's try that again. The tongue is really trying to take the day off today, I tell you folks. It's hard to prove that it's mismemory, that the psychologists are right when you have evidence like this that is clearly suggesting that it is not the case. Over here in the Rippin' Rabbit Hole chat, I'm not ignoring you, guy. My pillow guy sounds like Ed McMahon, says Chris. I have to agree. Ed McMahon, awful sunglasses and good voice and all. So there you go. I appreciate that, Chris. You think he sounds the same? Chris says, I've worn the tidy whities but never really noticed. Mike Lindell sounds like McMahon. So there's a conversation over here that Mike Lindell sounds like Ed McMahon. I tell you folks, I had off topic. I had a very interesting run-in the other day with a guy that sounded just like Mr. Casey Kasem himself. He come into the place that I work and asked for a couple parts, and my jaw just hit the ground. Like I had flashbacks of the Billboard Top 100 and Top 40, I think it was, he did. But man, it was absolutely crazy, just as crazy as the Mandela effect itself. And we still see Mandela effects cropping up very, very frequently. A very interesting subject, to say the least, a subject that deserves a lot more coverage than we really have time to give. And speaking of having time, you guys know that music means that we have run out of time in the first half of the DarkWolf's Den Show, so I appreciate every last one of you guys being here. My name is Jerry Hicks, also known as the Dark Wolf, and you're listening to the DarkWolf's Den Radio Show State of Mystery Mandela Effect for Thursday, August the 18th, 2022. Almost forgot what series I was doing there, folks. Exclusively on Rippin' Common Sense Radio Network, the rippinrabbithole.com, home of the Freedom Flame. We'll be right back with the second half of the Mandela Effect and more information about the International Mandela Effect Conference right after these messages. Stick around. Don't touch that dial. That's right.
We gotta stoke the fires and run off the men in black. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.
Oh yeah, Jerry Hicks on a Thursday night. Hi everyone, it's AJ, the Rippin' Rabbit. Are you enjoying tonight's look? State of Mystery at the Mandela Effect? I know I am. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to sign up for your exclusive Backstage VIP Pass, as we have been making a number of changes and further enhancements to our Rippin' Common Sense community-generated press at rippinrabbithole.com. You can submit your tips and stories together with us by signing up for that Backstage VIP Pass. It's absolutely free to do so. It always will be, but it's going to give you unfiltered access down the rabbit hole to where the conversation continues after the show. And in lieu of the most recent YouTube suspension, we have really been working this week to enhance the features that you will find there, including our new live on-air now listen and on-demand player, which is going to be incorporated into every broadcast moving forward, as well as a universal chat room on all show pages and the Backstage 24/7 lounge. So you can literally listen to Rippin' Common Sense Radio Network on every page of the Rippin' Rabbit Hole and chat along where those chat boxes appear. It's quite phenomenal. And of course, you can use the pop-out player and take us with you if you choose to surf away from the site. Nevertheless, we do not sell, share, or give away your personal information, so you can feel comfortable about joining our community-generated press. We'd love to have you. I will return again tomorrow night. My, oh my, how time does fly. Friday, August 19th, we are going to ignite another Freedom Flame Friday discussion with the synonym of trust tomorrow night, starting at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10/9 Central, as all shows do. Come along as another fantastic guest panel from our freedom fighters of Central Wisconsin join us, and we take on an incredible discussion centered around trust. It's amazing how these synonyms of freedom line up with exactly what we're dealing with in today's day and age. So I look forward to spending time together with you all weekend long as Freedom Flame Fridays kicks off tomorrow, Friday, August 19th at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10/9 Central. Tell your family, tell your friends, heck, tell your family's friends to be here or be square as we keep the conversation aflame. We'll return back to Jerry Hicks and the Darkwolf's Den Show, State of Mystery, the Mandela Effect. You're listening to the Rip and Common Sense Radio Network, home of the Freedom Flame, ripinrabbithole.com.
If you were meant to be controlled, you would have come with a remote, but you didn't. And that's why you listen to the Darkwolf's Den Show. Now, here is your host, Jerry Hicks.
That's right, I am Jerry Hicks, also known as the Dark Wolf, and welcome back to the second half of the Darkwolf's Den Radio Show for Thursday, August the 18th, 2022. So whether you're on the edge of a reality, the edge of the galaxy, or the edge of your seat, we're glad you chose us to be right there with you, folks. And there's a lot of you guys out here with us tonight, both in the Rippin' Rabbit Hole as well as the Darkwolf's Den Show YouTube chat. We've got, when I say Rippin' Rabbit Hole, I don't mean the channel, I mean over on the Rippin' Rabbit Hole, of course. Deborah O'Connor, My Life DIY, sneaking in the door there like I didn't see. I see Earth Daughter also hanging out. The Wonder Twins over there. Great to see you guys joining us this evening for this amazing conversation, as we've had a great conversation in the first half about the Mandela effect, of course, and the many different aspects there. We're going to have to go back and listen to the first half to hear all the fun stuff we discussed there. But folks, tonight we're going to also discuss another thing that is near and dear to my heart, a group that I am called the father of. I was literally voted the father of the International Mandela Effect Conference. Folks, if you haven't heard about this, we put on our first conference in 2019. Myself, Christopher Anatra, Cynthia Sue Larson, and Shane Robinson. We also put on digital conferences once a month called Open Tables here on the YouTube platform. And they are, of course, endorsed by Rippin' Common Sense Radio Network. We appreciate the endorsement over there from that station, our station here. But I bring up the International Mandela Effect because we've had some interesting things going on over there. For those that don't know, we created what's called the Golden Mandy Awards, kind of a play on the Golden Globes. A funny story how that actually came about. The person ended up winning it was a teenager that gave a TED Talk. How that came about, we were talking about the award shows that were on at the time that we were conversing in emails. I don't watch TV and award shows, so I haven't seen those things for many, many years. But we were discussing it, and I said we ought to have a Golden Mandy. And that joke led to the creation of what we now have as the Golden Mandy. The Golden Mandy is important to the International Mandela Effect Conference. Spit it out, Jerry. Oh, Chris over there playing in the chat. I see, trying to make somebody laugh. I got you, but you're not going to take me off topic. The International Mandela Effect Conference is a community-based organization. Of course, it is a 501c3 organization for those that don't know, but we are all about giving to the community, and the community, we want to get involved with us as we pick the next Golden Mandy. I dropped a link in the chat on the YouTube, and give me just a second here. I'm also going to drop this same link in the chat over on Rippin' Common Sense Radio Network. This link is to SurveyMonkey. There's only 2 questions, folks. Don't worry. You're not going to have to stress your brain too much. The questions are as follows, and IMEC would like to know. Number 1, what Mandela effect this past year has shocked you the most? Now, this is the nomination phase we are in, folks. So we will go through the nominees once we get all the nominees in and sort through them and present them back to the community. Question number 2. The Golden Mandy Award is the Mandela Effect version of the Oscar or the Academy Awards. Who would you nominate for 2022 and why? Note that 2021 nominations, last year's nominations, folks, I don't want you to be confused. The ones that we had nominated last year amongst the one that won was as follows. The Shazam movie by DC Comics, excuse me, opposed to the Shazam we remember, right? Number 2, the Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets movie. Number 3, Holmes and Watson, released in 2018. Number 4 in the running last year was Pinocchio, which released December 2020. And number 5 was Brie Benage's TEDx Youth Talk, The Mystery Behind the Mandela Effect. Number 6, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So, of course, the winner last year of all of those ended up being Brie Benage and her TEDx Youth Talk on the mystery behind the Mandela Effect. Luckily, we were able to get her on with a very short notice at that time, but now we want the community to put in their nominations. We want to hear from you guys at the International Mandela Effect Conference. You guys choose who is nominated, who has done the best work this year. Whether it be Moneybags or the most mind-boggling Mandela Effect ever, whether it be DarkWolf's Den, yeah, little play on myself there, Cynthia Sue Larson, Shane Robinson, Eva, she does her weekly shows, whoever you think deserves recognition for their work in the community of the Mandela Effect and moving the community forward, we would like to know and nominate, or you can nominate them for the Golden Mandy. Of course, this is the first round of nominations. Once again, once we have the nominations, we will represent to the community for voting until we get down into one winner in both categories. So we would love everybody to go over. Once again, this is a SurveyMonkey link. I will drop in both chats. It's 2 simple questions, and we would love to hear from you. Again, I work with the International Mandela Effect Conference. We have a show coming up next Wednesday, by the way. Mark your calendars, as we got some incredible topics to discuss, folks. Topics that are very pertinent to our day and age. I guarantee you that. It's going to be lots and lots of fun. I know it's strange that I'm plugging one show from another, but again, it's a group that really, really means a lot to me. And what the work that we're trying to do over there in educating the public and moving the conversation forward and bringing on scientists and digging into things like the Chicago study and proving that the Mandela Effect is more than just a fun little plaything, a glitch in the memory, a mismemory, an accidental memory, whatever weird parapsychology phrase or weird psychology phrase, I should say, you want to choose. However, we know different. We are a community that sticks together and really know that something's going on. A community not much unlike the UFO community back in when I was growing up. Again, I come from the paranormal side of things. UFOs are a huge thing. UFO community was laughed at and ridiculed for many years, right? And they were told whatever they were seeing, even though people clearly reported these experiences that they know to be true. People told them what they were experiencing was crazy and couldn't happen. Especially the ones that were claiming they were being abducted, right? People ridiculed and made fun of the UFO community for years. However, in the last 3 or 4, and I'd even say 5 years now, since 2016, so it's been a little while, hasn't it? Ever since then, they have been very open, the government has, at least more than they ever were before, about UFOs, and have vindicated that population of people. We are the new UFO community, folks. The Mandela effect community. We know we're seeing something that cannot be explained. And I ask you, how many grains of sand do you need to build a beach? When I started, like I mentioned in the first half, looking into the Mandela effect, there were 4, maybe 4 grains of sand. And I've watched this thing to grow to over thousands and many more claims. Not counting personal Mandela effects. And I've had personal things happen that I can't explain. But there have been, how many grains of sand do you need to build a beach? There have been a lot of grains of sand. Or I would pose the question a little bit differently. How many white crows do you need to prove that all crows aren't black? If you get rid of 99.99% of all of the Mandela effect, bring it down to the one you're sure of, like Chris over here in the Rip and Rabbit Hole chat says, I know for a fact that Ed McMahon was with Publishers Clearinghouse awarding winnings to front doors. You're absolutely right, Chris. That's exactly what we all remember, but history, reality itself, says that is a false memory, sir, that you did not experience, you think you experienced. Because Ed McMahon never worked for Publishers Clearinghouse, according to this reality. He worked for another one with Dick Clark. I used to enjoy Jiffy peanut butter. Lunch in a Jiffy. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Lunch at a Jiffy. At least that's what I remember. Jiff never existed. Or Jiffy never existed, so it was always Jiff. Strangeness. It might be small things. People say all the time it's small things. Look at the map. You want to talk about small things. The map itself does not look right. When was Chile under Florida? I want to ask that again. When was Chile under Florida? Think about the world map. I remember Chile being down under California. I don't know about you guys. South America was underneath North America. Not like it was trying to escape North America and hook up over there with Africa. Australia. I've watched New Zealand. Now, I will swear on a Bible, folks, to what I'm about to attest. And I mean this. I have watched New Zealand literally dance a circle around Australia. When I first encountered New Zealand, there's a reason I encountered it. I was looking at topographic maps and fault line maps. Florida's never Chile. Well put, Raider champion. When I first remember New Zealand, it was up at the top left-hand corner. Northwest corner of Australia. Sorry, I had to think about my right and left, east and west there for a moment. Then it moved down to the bottom on the left side. Then it jumped up to the top on the right side, the northeast corner. Now, of course, at least the last time I checked it a few days ago, it's down at the bottom. It's the land down under now, much further down than Australia is. I swear in a book of Bibles I have watched this country literally dance around in a circle around Australia. And what seals the Mandela effect for me the most, and I will bring this up time and time and time again, the one reason that I know it cannot be mismemory for me, a phenomenon in the Mandela effect that does not get talked about a whole lot, at least not openly and publicly. That, of course, that I speak of is the flip-flops. You can't misremember it both ways. Take, for instance, the Victoria's Secret flip-flop. One that I called bunkum being wrong when I did, and this is one reason it means so much to me. The word, or the store Victoria's Secret, lost the apostrophe S. Somebody come out and made a video about this. And I took a hard stance in my head. No, that's drawing straws. There's no way. Too close. Now, the way they claimed it was the apostrophe S had always been there. The apostrophe S was gone as Victoria's Secret. Again, it feels like drawing straws, right? I'm sure from a logical point of view, some would agree with that concept, that idea. However, the apostrophe S came back within 2 weeks. Now, for the guys that claimed that it was gone to begin with, you can only have two options to explain this, right? Just Carol says, I am Victoria's other secret. There you go, Just Carol. Oh, the secrets we hold and the secrets we don't. And Victoria don't have many left, does she? Anyway, when it changed back to what they claimed it was to begin with, the flip-flop, they can't be right both, or they can't be wrong both times. They can't be wrong the first time and the second time. They were right, it came back. So they're either psychic and knew it would change back, or change to that, which again, you have to invoke the paranormal for that to be true, psychic. Or the Mandela effect is real, where you still have to invoke the paranormal. No matter what your answer is here, you have to invoke the paranormal. You can't be wrong both times. It can't be a mismemory both ways. Sex in the City. I've seen so many mentions, still hear many mentions of Sex in the City. I was watching a show the other day, Matt Pat, on YouTube. He mentioned Smokey the Bear. And I just couldn't help but grin. I know he's got a big enough audience. Somebody is going to tell him about that. Not a doubt in my mind. Pretty sure he's already heard about that. As I've noticed, the Mandela effect has seemed to be growing. And more people are seeing this. We are seeing people wake up to this in droves. I have seen a large burst in the community lately. Why? Even on TikTok. There's groups over on TikTok just for Mandela effect. Why? Because people see this. This isn't something that is a cultural thing that we're all, colluding underneath in a clubhouse about. Everybody sees this. We all know that things are not the way we remember them. And when it affects everybody independently, you cannot ignore it anymore. This is an independent phenomena. I don't care if you live in Germany or the United States, Canada or Mexico, or any place around the globe. If you're familiar with it and you know it's changed, you can't deny it. You have to either, one, assume you're crazy, or you're going to eventually stop assuming you were wrong all these many times and start thinking maybe something else is going on. Now, it's not going to be something big like the sky turning green and purple and rainbow. Then again, we never know. Rainbow's been a funny thing in the Mandela effect, hasn't it? There are a number of theories that could be causing it. We all know that. But what is really insane to me is everybody, in one way or another, seems to experience it. I've talked to Uber drivers, and I'll subtly bring things up. And it's funny to start watching the gears turn. I'm watching the chat over here in both the Rip and Rabbit Hole and YouTube over here. We got a lot of Bewitched coming up. Samantha never wiggled her nose, guys. I'm going to repeat that. In Bewitched, Samantha, the way she casted spells is no longer wiggling her nose. She wiggled her mouth. And I am confused. I remember that little nose wiggling is a little trick they had to do in editing later, I was told. For many years. But her nose don't wiggle no more, folks. If you remember that, you have experienced the Mandela effect. Congratulations. Cup of Noodles has been a weird one. Because they come out retroactively and showed their old logos eventually and said, oh yeah, it was Cup of Noodles. I see a number of them coming up over here in chat. I love it. There's so many to choose from. I watched Costco lose a T and gain it back in about 2 weeks. The Flintstones became the Flintstones. It's those flip-flops that really cannot be ignored. As a matter of fact, when I started my channel doing theories, I still had the thought in the back of my mind, what if it is that simple as just mismemory? But when I experienced my first flip-flop, I knew without a doubt in my mind that this was more than real and could not be explained with mismemory at all. And now the University of Chicago has backed up this data. Again, check the first half of the show. They have scientifically proven, so the next time somebody tells you that Mandela effect is mismemory, that Mandela effect is just schema theory, filling in memory, you'll know what both of those mean now. You can tell them no, that has been scientifically disproven to be an answer to the Mandela effect. The psychologists and psychiatrists need to go back to the chalkboard, ladies and gentlemen. But what do you guys think? Do you think the Mandela effect is a real phenomenon? Do you think that it is something that is actually going on worldwide? I'm sure you've got many theories of what it could be. causing that is CERN, timeline shifting. That's many, many stories and many, many conversations for many, many other days, folks. But you guys know that music means we have run out of time for our discussion tonight on the Mandela Effect on the Darkwolf's Den Radio Show State of Mystery series. In the end, ladies and gentlemen, all you can do is look at the evidence, apply a little common sense, and you be the judge. We got to close it out. That's right, that's it for this episode of the Darkwolf's Den Radio Show for Thursday, August the 18th, 2022. So whether you're on the edge of a reality, the edge of the galaxy, or the edge of your seat, we're glad you chose us to be right there with you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope I have made your evening very, very pleasurable. At least that's my intent, folks. Stay tuned to Rippin' Common Sense Radio Network on the rippinrabbithole.com, as AJ will not be returning to YouTube this week. He has been, as we know, having issues with their services and working on upgrading the site over here at Rippin' Common Sense Radio Network, upgrades that we all should go check out, as he's made a incredible radio player on the site, folks. He's made it visually much, much more entertaining. Very lot of stuff we're working on behind the scenes for you guys over here at Rippin' Common Sense Radio Network to keep things fun and new. And we've got even more surprises coming this weekend as AJ continues to take to the airwaves, like on Friday when he'll be discussing again another Freedom Flame Friday episode on trust. I do believe the topic is, quote me or let me know if I'm wrong over there, AJ. I do believe he'll be discussing trust this time, but then again, there's no telling with AJ and what could be going on, as things seem to be changing very, very rapidly nowadays in the news, right guys? And to stay in touch with all of the fun show topics we have here on Rippin' Common Sense Radio, make sure you hop on over to the rippinrabbithole.com. That is rippinrabbithole.com, folks. Of course, over there you're going to find the up-to-date schedule under the Listen Live tab. And you're going to be able to keep up with all of the episodes coming up as things once again change very, very rapidly here at Rippin' Common Sense Radio Network, and we will be continuing to grow the site over here. Also, while you're over here, make sure you drop down the rabbit hole. That's right, that is our exclusive social media section, one that may be growing really soon. More details may be coming very, very soon from us here at the network. But as I said, do make sure you drop down the rabbit hole and share all of your information that you find with us, as we do not shadow ban, we do not block your information or try to falsely claim that it has been fact-checked, as we do our own research and take all ideas and facts into account over here. Please allow us to serve you with the freedom of speech. Drop your information down the rabbit hole, that's right, and then you can join us backstage in the 24/7 lounge, where I'll be here in just a couple minutes. And if you would like to come hang out with me, do make sure you meet us there. You just have to sign up, of course, for your backstage pass, giving you access, free access as it is, to the entire site here. It all is free and it always will be. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it has been an honor and a pleasure to spend yet another incredible and amazingly fun weekend here with you guys on Rippin' Common Sense Radio Network and on YouTube on the DarkWolf's Den YouTube channel. Shout out to all of you guys over there. Deborah O'Connor, My Life DIY, JoJo, Sandy B. Earth, Daughter, General Sorrow, Ellie Brooks. I do apologize, Ellie. I told you the tongue is not working correctly tonight. Raider Champion in the house. Michael Fontaine, Wasted Millennium. We thank all of you guys for hanging out here with us on behalf of all these amazing folks that have been here tonight, as well as AJ the Riffin' Rabbit, Chick Mandela Effect, Michael Musco, Walt House, everyone involved at the Rippin' Common Sense Radio Network, and Tom Baillies. for this amazingly rad music. He just had a birthday the other day, folks. Happy birthday to Tom Baillies. And on behalf of all these folks, my name is Jerry Hicks, also known as the Dark Wolf. You've been listening to the Darkwolf's Den Radio Show, State of Mystery series, The Mandela Effect, exclusively on Rippin' Common Sense Radio Network, home of the Freedom Flame. Until we meet again, remember, stay awake, but dare to dream, ladies and gentlemen, always dare to dream. Good night, everybody. How? Yeah. That's right. Stand strong.
Unlocked and into the dark.
Some things are better left unknown. Where's that camera at? And I'll never find you here, 'cause no one's ever wrong. How we doing out there, YouTube? Glad you guys are here tonight. When the glass is clean, she's a sneaky hider. Hide the lies and the alibis. What a sinner is it in her? I know, probably sounds a lot better with her singing it. I'll try not to make your ears bleed. Go ahead and mute the mic out. Let you enjoy the rest of this song.
What's the truth in this riddle? Is love really just this simple? I can't seem to find my way in this world that never stays.
Michael Fontaine says, let's go, Brandon. I'm just reading the chat, folks. Just reading the chat.
What a widow, a peaceful spider. When the glass is clean, she's a sneaky hider. Hide the lies and the alibis. What a sinner is it in her?
Okay, one more time. Brandon's lost in a wonderland of confusion. I'm pretty sure that's not the actual words, is it?
Is this real or just illusion? Manifestation
Or Brandon's dark delusion.
Is this real or just illusion? I'm lost in a wonderland of confusion.
I'll see you guys next weekend. Stay tuned to Rippin' Common Sense Radio Network at therippinrabbithole.com. Good night, everybody.